some hurts. Anybody tells you otherwise is crazy. Hit! Come on now, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta have mental toughness to play this game. You can't play this game without mental toughness. The toughest time is right now.
The coaches obviously knew their trade, and they presented the academic side of Princeton to me well. They weren't only interested in football. They didn't ask me what my 40 time was, what I felt I had done in high school football. They asked me what type of person I was, and that is what really impressed me about Coach Cassiola and the other coaches.
And I think the tackle playing a linebacker play here, Len, is something that's key to us. If we can block the tackle on the tackle and we're free to get the end on the linebacker, our outside veer should be there, should it not?
Correct, right.
Now, Warren, if this linebacker scrapes fast with the monster out of the play, we should have a chance to dump in the foot brake.
Right.
59!
I think one of the big things a coach has to learn, and it's not easy because when you come into a new situation, you have a lot of ambitions and you have a lot of goals that you set for yourself. I think one of the big things a coach has to learn is to be patient, particularly with his players. And as it worked out here last year, we had some real problems trying to put an offense and a defense together, creating an attitude. Everything was new, a coaching staff and ideas. And although it was a difficult year a year ago, we did learn a lot about our kids, and they in turn learned a lot about us. And in doing so, I think what happened was our patience paid off.
The thing I do like about them is that they know how to talk to the players and get their points across and make you feel that everybody's a part of the team.
We never got down on them. We never got discouraged with them. And I think overall this had a lot to do with the success we finally had this past fall.
I found that the coaching here is exceptional in pushing you as an athlete. The coaches seem to know a great deal about you as a person, and they know just how far they can push you, and they do a good job in doing that.
When we talk about the limitations on coaching in the Ivy League, perhaps the biggest one of all naturally has to be spring practice and the lack of spring practice. Sure, a coach would like to have his freshman squad perhaps for a while out there for a week to 10 days. We can't do it here, and we haven't had it for years, but we accept that. I accept it as a coach, and I know my staff does. What it means is that our players are permitted now to play other sports, and this is one of the big selling points about Princeton, the fact that you can come here and participate if you have an interest and you have a talent in a spring sport like baseball or lacrosse or track, and pick up from there, or many of our kids get into new sports, which is very exciting for them, like crew. Because of this limitation, though, you've got to assemble a staff, and I feel very fortunate with the people that I have, who are excellent teachers, who are people that really can get a lot done in a short period of time. And I think that was another big part of our success this fall, the fact that our staff could put together the things we needed to do in a month before our first game and get so prepared so early.
Walk through it on set.
At half speed, let's go.
We came back this season knowing where we could place our people offensively and defensively. They knew the program. They knew what was expected of them as players. And once we started going, we were a better football team right from the beginning.
I'm Ron Beeble, a civil engineer from the class of 1976, and I play quarterback. My number is number 12. I feel fortunate to be on this team who had their back to the wall in the fall of 1973 and went through a fairly disappointing season, but a learning season. And we came back to get a 4-4-1 record, and we feel now we're in a position to challenge for the Ivy League title.
Ron Beeble has started for us ever since his sophomore year. He was thrust into a difficult situation a year ago. He was a sophomore. He had several upperclassmen ahead of him at the quarterback position, but we felt he had all the necessary talents to make us better and make us a winner. And although he had to live through a very difficult sophomore season as far as a won-and-loss record, he learned a lot, and I think it was proven this year when he came back and took over our football team and led them all the way through. He's an excellent passer. He's got a real touch on the football. He's got the great ability to hit the short ones and also to drop back and throw the bomb. He's a bright kid. He's an engineering major who really understands our offense and is like having another coach on the field. Ronnie has come through a lot of difficult times personally, in a sense that he's had his own physical problems with his knees, but this year, more than perhaps even his sophomore year, he ran enough to keep people honest. And as I look to the future, I've got to believe the run, Beeble, will be the key to our offense next fall.
It has been our philosophy offensively to have a balanced attack. I don't believe you can go in and say you're just going to run the football when you don't necessarily outman many of the people you play. And I see a real balance in the Ivy League now as far as talent goes. I mean, balance as far as the talents of each team. So I think you really need to have a balanced offense so that if a team can take away the run, you have the option to go to the pass and you can throw the ball with confidence. This is what we've established over the last 2 years, and perhaps more so this past fall, where we ran and threw the ball with great consistency. We have fine talents offensively in what we in football call the skilled positions, quarterback, running back, receivers. Those talents return for the 75 season, fortunately. But we believe in running the football and also passing the football with equal distribution.
My name's Walt Snickenberger. I'm in the class of 75 here at Princeton, and I'm majoring in history. In football, I play halfback, and my number is 43. Princeton and Princeton football have meant an awful lot over my 4 years here. I came to Princeton for a variety of reasons, partially academic, partially the chance that I could play football and hockey, and I think all three of these things have meant a lot to me at Princeton. If I had chosen to go someplace on a football scholarship, I probably wouldn't have been able to realize as many of my goals as I have here at Princeton.
Walt Snickenberger, I've often said, is probably the most consistent player and offensive player I've ever been around. What I mean by being consistent is that he always comes ready to play. He's never had a bad day. He's never been out with injuries, and he's played for 2 years for me under very difficult circumstances, and yet has delivered time and time again. He's a great running back. His natural cutting ability makes him outstanding. He's deceivingly fast, and perhaps often overlooked is the fact that when you needed it, he could block, and he would block. He's an unselfish type player. He gave of himself this year, especially to our younger players, in making sure that they knew that although he was the #1 man on our squad and got most of the play as far as the publicity goes, that he was very appreciative of everything they've ever done for him. His being voted the most valuable player in the Ivy League perhaps is a fitting tribute to the effort he put into football over the last 2 years. He's a great one, and there'll be a long time before we have anybody with all those combinations again.
I think football is enough a part of my life that I would like to try to play professional football if possible. Of course, I'm not real sure right now whether I'll have the chance, but if I do have a good enough chance, I'll give it a try.
We throw the football from many actions: sprint out, drop back, and what we call in football play action off of the run fake. Add to that the combination of formations we have, the eye, the split backs, 2 wide receivers in motion, and we've got many, many things going for us. But our basic offense is a dive, veer type attack where we hit straight ahead. We try to make our backs run to openings, intelligently run off of blocks. This has been the basis to our offense over the last 2 years, and we've grown and progressed to where now we've got all kinds of varieties when we get into the split back or the eye backfield with the same ideas, and off of that comes the pass.
My name's Bob Reid. I'm a junior this year at Princeton, number 45. I'm a history major here, and I think it's kind of important that people emphasize their studies combined with the football, because the coaches do that, and to all of us that play, this is really important. Well, personally, this balance between academics and athletics was very instrumental in me arriving here at Princeton.
Bobby sort of goes unnoticed in our offense many times, and especially the last 2 years playing in the same backfield with Walt Snickenberger. But I think this year, more than ever, we all learn to appreciate his efforts. He's a fine running back. He's a strong runner and a dependable runner, both inside and off tackle in some of the things that we do. He's a team player, and being a junior, he can look back already on lots of game experience, and has to be, along with some of our younger players in the backfield, the kind of things that we're really building on as we get excited about 1975.
I don't really have that breakaway threat that Walt does. I tend to lean more upon the ability of the blocking in front of me to get me up to and maybe a few yards past the line of scrimmage, and leave a little bit of my my cutting ability and strength to get me into the secondary.
My name's Dan Fournier. I'm in the class of 77 at Princeton, and I'm a split end, number 85. Here at Princeton, I don't think I've been disappointed, simply because the academic side and the athletic side have come together so well here. I feel that as a student, my overall ambition is to go back to my home in Canada to law school. And I feel the subjects and the type of faculty that I can study under here are just exceptional. Football was important to me, and I knew it. I wanted to choose a school that would let me play football, give me an opportunity to play and challenge me. Receivers that were really competing against me were helping me out, were teaching me things, were teaching me to become smoother in my pass patterns, were helping me out in what a downfield block was. And it just seemed amazing to me that a guy who I was really trying to beat out for a position would help me constantly. I find also that the atmosphere the coaches have brought about on this team is a winning one, simply because the players now no longer think of mistakes, no longer think of what it would be like if we lost. Winning is the central point.
Defensively, we have worked hard on teaching our team techniques. We are not a big stunning type team. We do not believe in going after people all the time and using linebackers or creating man-for-man situations. We play good, solid, technique-type defense. We teach our players their position, how to react to the various blocks, various combinations that can happen to them. We work very hard. We're a technique-oriented team. John Peter Kuski, our defensive coordinator, works very hard with our down linemen, and I think this year we started to see that pay off in the kinds of reactions we got out of our tackles, our middle guards. Al Wilson, working with our linebackers and our defensive ends, has stressed playing good, sound, technique football. And I think this fall our defense improved immeasurably, and any success we had to go back to good, solid defense. Our secondary, which was a weak spot as far as we were concerned in the amount of experience we had there, really came along under Warren Harris to where I think next year it'll probably be one of our strong points. Defensively, we are a sound football team, and I think that what we learned over the last 2 years and know now about our personnel makes it possible for us to look to 1975 and say we're going to be a much improved defensive football team. We've improved over the last 2 years to where now I think we're going to be very solid on defense. And I firmly believe from my experience in coaching that that's where you win football games. You've got to have good, solid defense.
I'm number 52, a linebacker on the football team. My name is Ken Frederick. Football at Princeton has meant very much to me. I've been a starter for the last 2 years, and one thing that has impressed me very much is the spirit of the team. My sophomore year was a very depressing year, but one thing that wasn't lacking was spirit.
Kenny Frederick has been a very durable and consistent performer for us all through his varsity career. He played a lot of football as a sophomore, and this year started regularly for us as a linebacker. Kenny oftentimes goes unnoticed until after the films are over on a Sunday morning and you check the number of tackles and find that he's the leading tackler on the team. He's a very consistent performer. He's a tough, durable kid who's played with pain and with injury. And I think I know how he feels about what we accomplished in 1974, and I know how he looks to the future in 1975, his senior year, and what he considers to be a big year for this team.
My name is Thomas Palmer. I'm a junior here at Princeton, majoring in architecture, and play cornerback for the football team, number 13.
Tommy Palmer plays the corner position for us. This year, as a junior, he started in every game and was very, very consistent in his performance. He's got a great knack for defending against the pass, which is his primary responsibility. Yet, although he's not the biggest guy in the world, he'll come up on the corner when he has to make the big play and the big tackle. Tommy's a very, very versatile football player and a good guy to have on your side.
One thing that I'm so struck by, the athletes here and the student athletes here, they're asking us to help them get from here to there and to achieve the kind of excellence that they know they can achieve, but also recognize they need help in. And this is, I think, our challenge as coaches, as administrators, as educators.
I think that's characteristic of students here in all that they do.
Surely the talent has as much to do with your success in athletics as anything. But next to it, perhaps the most important factor are your facilities. And as you look out here at what we have to offer, We feel very excited and very proud. Palmer Stadium, which seats well over 40,000, is one of the finest football stadiums in the East. We have practice facilities for football and all other sports, baseball, lacrosse, right outside next to our Caldwell dressing facilities. Right here within Jadwin, we have excellent accommodations for sports like track, tennis, both upstairs on the top level and on the ground floor. One of the largest fencing rooms in the nation. We have facilities during the off-season for indoor soccer and lacrosse practice. And of course, a great arena for our basketball program, which has been one of the most consistently successful ones around. Wrestling is a very important sport at Princeton, and we have some of the finest wrestling facilities you could find anywhere. We're very proud of our athletic facilities at Princeton, and we think it's a great attraction in selling a youngster who is academically qualified on coming here.
We have some 17 intercollegiate sports, 60 different teams just for males. We have some 12 intercollegiate or club varsity sports for women, an additional 20-some teams there. 30% of our undergraduate body are performing in some way or another on an intercollegiate team. We're very happy about that and very proud of it.
When you consider the fact that we only had 16 seniors on our squad, we bring back a rather young football team composed mainly of juniors and sophomores, and many of them have game experience, so that when you think about spirit and attitude, we created that in 1974. We had it even in 1973. We always had an attitude, even when it was a discouraging season. But when you have a little success, when you taste what victory is all about, it sort of makes it easier.
And we're going to win, and I know we will. I expect that we'll win the Ivy League championship before I graduate from Princeton University and before our sophomore class graduates.
We believe we're now in a position to really be a contender in the league. We've come this far. Our club is experienced in the key positions, we feel. And now we're in a position where, as we look to 75 and the 1975 season, we feel very confident that we can compete and favorably compete with anybody in this league. So we look upon ourselves as a contender, which is a far cry from where we were 2 years ago. But that's one of the beauties and one of the great things about coaching and playing athletics, that if you work hard enough and you get the right balance of talent and things start to break your way, which seems to be the case now, that we're in a position to feel confident about the future. And I think we're anxiously looking forward to this coming fall.
36 fair! 36 fair!
When we hinge, linemen, we set up, right? Now we're hinging. But we'd like to invite them here. The pass are being thrown out. We never want them to come inside.
Hit!
We're going to double down on the tackle, all right? And we're going to trap, okay? Here we go. The big key is the offensive tackle.
Let's get it going, O'Brien, here. Let's go. Come on,
All right, okay.
That's what's going to happen.
All right.
Make the first hit on that guy, or he's going to pass.
All right, we're going to run it from open eye right.